Hello friends, how are you? Welcome to Japan Study Center. Today we are going to see the chapter of geography and what is our topic today? Earth as an interior and it is a material. There is a most important chapter arrived at geography. There is a first point arrived here is the earth as an interior surface. There is a most important earth as an interior. And that it is not possible to know about the earth as an interior by direct observation because of it is their size and the changing of nature of its internal compositions. Through this mining and the railings operation, we have been able to observe the earth as interior directly only up to the depth of few kilometers. The rapidly increasing in the temperature below there is a earth as a surface is mainly responsible for the settings or limit to direct observation inside the earth. The temperature in the earth is interior as so high that can even to melt any tools used after drilling. And this fact also is restricted as a deep drillings, thus causing a hindrance to be direct observation of the materials of the earth interior. Here the most important show there are the concentratrix of the zone of the showing the layers of the earth as an interior fish. There is a most important show here. There is a first here is a lithosphere and the shell is 100 kilometer as and depth is a 45 kilometer. That is the most important. There is a show here C1. C1 means liquid outer core and the C2 here a solid inner cores. There is a arrived of 1420 kilometer there. There is the most important here diagram showed in this chapter. The next topic is the most important here structure of the earth as an interior. There is the most important here topic arrived. The above diagram is in sheet show there is a concentric layer of the earth interiors. There is a innermost layer is surrounding the earth is a center is called core, which is about 3,500 kilometer in a radius. Core is the most is a dense layer of the earth with it is a density range from to 9.5 to the 14.5 and sometimes even higher. It is a composed to the mainly of there is iron and nickel, thus the commonly is known as the knife. The knife means to nickel is a ferrums and the core consists of the two sub layers. The inner one is a solid means C2 shown in the figure and the outer one is the semi-liquid means C1. The layer is surrounding the core is known as a metal or rock cell about the 2,900 kilometer things and it is a composed to the basic silicate and the major constituent as the element of metal and the magnesium and silicon. And then there is a layer is the terms as a sigma is a silica and magnesium. There is sigma there is a two elements is combined here of silica and magnesium. The density of the layer is varies from to 3.3 to 5.7 metallic and there is surrounding by the outermost layer of the earth and known as the lithosphere and its density is varies from 2.70 to the 2.95. The major constituent element of the lithosphere are silica. There is silica means Si and the aluminum is Al. Thus, this is a layer is a term is a cereal. There is cereal means a silica plus aluminium. There is a first two words here cilia. There is the most important silica and aluminium. The outermost part of the lithosphere is known as the crust. There the outermost of the part of the lithosphere is known as the crust. Normally about to 8 to 40 kilometer is a thick. There is the most important here word arrive this box. The core, mantle and crust are the three main is a concentrating layer of the earth as a interior. And the core is the innermost layer and has to the highest density. It is made up to mainly a nickel and iron. The mantle is a layer is a lining between two the core and lithosphere. It is a major constituent of the silicon and magnesium. That is the most important, the silicon and magnesium. Crust is the outermost layer of the earth and is mainly composed of silica and aluminium. There is mainly composed of here silica and aluminium. This evidence along with the molten lava upcharge from to the earth as an interior support that a temperature increasing to about to the center of the earth. The difference observations show that the rate of increasing of temperature is not uniform from to the surface to about to the Earth's center. It is a faster in some place that is the other. In this beginning, this increasing at on average rate of the 0 Celsius, so every is a 32 meter increasing the depth. There is a most important point here. There is a 32 meter increasing the depth. There is a 1 Celsius is increasing of the temperature. There is a most important. And at the such as a constant rate is increasing temperature at the 10 kilometer depth, the temperature will be approximately is a 300 Celsius, and at the 40 kilometer depth it will be a 1200 Celsius. There is a very amazing here, and the most important at this rate is the Earth's interior should be a melted state. Yet it is not so because the rock is bearing under to the pressure of the several kilometer thickness of overlying rock melt at the higher temperature and then similar rock at the surface. A basaltic lava rock is which melt at 1250 Celsius. At the surface will be melt at 1400 Celsius at the 32 kilometer depth. There is the most important. The extra heat required for the melting in the produced by radioactivity. It is a result of the breakdown of the atomic nucleus of the mineral emitting radiant energy in form of heat from two rocks. The behavior of the earthquakes above is another evidence of this phenomenon. The further is a confirmed that is a composition of difference layer. It is a variable as it is the rate of change of temperature. Will in the upper 100 kilometers increasing in the temperature is at the rate of 12 Celsius per kilometer. In the next 300 kilometer it is a 200 Celsius per kilometer, but it is only 10 Celsius per kilometer below it. Thus, the rate of increasing of temperature, the when there is surface decreasing to about the center. The temperature at the center is estimated to lie of somewhere between to the 3000 Celsius and 5000 Celsius. Such a higher temperature inside the earth may be due to the chemical reaction under to the high pressure condition and degradation of radioactive element. The next stage is the pressure. The pressure also increases for the surface to about the center of the earth due to the and the weight of the overlying rock. Therefore, it is a deeper portions. The pressure is a terminally high. The pressure near to the center is considered to be a 3 to the 4 million times the pressure of atmosphere at the sea level. At the high temperature, there material the beneath will be melt toward the central part of the earth. The molten is the materials under to the terrace is a pressure condition require the property of the solid and it is a probably is a plastic state. The next area is the density. Due to increasing the pressure and presence of the heavier material to the earth as a center, the density of the earth as a layer also goes on increasing. Also, there is a material of the innermost part of the earth are very dense are already started. Is the materials of the earth as a crust. There is chapter here earth interior and it is a material. There is a most important topic arrived of materials of the earth as a crust. The outermost part of the lithosphere is called crust. Is known as there is the outermost part of the lithosphere is called crust. There is a definition of crust. The outermost layer of the lithosphere is called crust, and this is the most significant part of the earth because it is a occupy the humans. It is a material is a crust is a made up a rock. The rock are different types. There are hard like is a granites, soft like clay, and the loose like a grab. There is a rock has a greater variety of the colors and weight and the hardness. There is the most important. There is a different types of rock. There are granite, soft, clay, and loose like a grabs. There is the most important, and also is important here. There is a great variety, the color, weight, and hardness. The rock art is composed of minerals. There is an aggregate or physical mixture of one or more minerals, and minerals on the others hard, and they are made up to the two or more element in the defined ratio. They have a defined to the chemical composition. Crust is made up to more than 2000 minerals. But out of these, six are most abundant and contribute of the maximum to this uppermost part of the earth. And these are feldspar, scottes, and merosengens, and apple and mica, and the olivine. The granite is a rock and it is a constant of the minerals bounded together are quartz, feldspar, and the mica, which make it a hard rock. Change in the ratio of these minerals give rise to the granite of different colors and hardness. The minerals containing a metal are called metallic mineral. There is a hematite, a major iron ore is a metallic minerals. Ores are the metallic minerals which can be a profitable mine. The rock are is a immense are economically important to us. Let's come to the most important topic I have here are types of rock. There is a part of earth as an interior and it is a material chapter. There is a types of rock. The rock differ in there is a property, size of particles and mode of formation. There is a most important rock has a differ in there is a property, size of the particles and mode of formation. And other basis of mode of formation rock may be grouped into three types. There is the most important three types here: igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. There is the most important three types. The first here, igneous rock. The igneous rock is a ball. Igneous is derived from the Latin word means igneous, mean of fire. There is the most important. The igneous rock here, the Latin word is igneous, mean of fire. Igneous rock here formed by there is a cooling of highly heated molten fluid materials as known as a magma. There is a most important. The rock here is formed by the cooling of highly heated molten fluid materials is known as a magma. There is a magma is a formation of igneous is a rock. The word is a magma is derived from a Greek word which means a depth. It is require a great quantity of the heat to the melt the rock under to the overlying pressure and then at the surface. We do know not now there is exact a depth at which is the magma is from, but probably it is formed at a different depth not exceeding is the 40 kilometers. The molten rock is produced in increasing in a volume which is responsible for causes or fractures or cracks in the crust. There is the most important here. The outer lining is a pressure gate or beacon. Along this is an opening, thus the forcing out the magma through them. The otherwise it can escape due to the great overlining of pressure. There is the most important here, and where the magma is ejected to the surface is called lava. There is the most important lava. When the magma is ejected to the surface, it's called lava. Igneous rock are formed from a solidified molten magma below on the earth's surface. As there is a compress, the earth is a first crust and all other rock are derived from them. And this is called to the parents of the rock. It is a primary rock. There is the most important here. What is a primary rock? As the compress of the earth as a first crust and all other rock are derived from them, and these are called parents of the rock or primary rock. In a simple word, all the rock can be as described as a igneous origin because at one time to another there was a erupted to the surface. A younger series of the igneous rock is still began formed. About 95% of the volume of outermost of 60 kilometers of the earth is composed of them. And these are the largely hard and massive because of their magnetic origins and are crystallining in appearance. There is the most important here. This is largely hardened and massive because there is a magnetic origin and crystallining is appearing. On the base of their mode of the occurrence is the igneous rock can be classified as a explosive or volcanic rock and intrusive rock. There is the most important here. There is a first here extrusive igneous rock are formed by cooling of lava on the earth surface. There is the most important. There are extrusive igneous rock are formed by cooling of lava on the earth surface. As a lava cool very rapidly on coming of the hot interior of the earth. The minerals is a crystal is a forming this rock are very fine. There is the most important, and this rock are called is volcanic rock. The volcanic rock there is the most important, and gabbro and the basalt are the very common examples such a rock. And this rock is formed is a volcanic area, and Dickens is a plateaus or regular soil in India is a derived from lava. The next important here are internships of igneous rock are formed when the magma solidifies below their earth as a surface. The rate of cooling below the earth as a surface is very slow, which is give rise to the formation of large crystal in the rock. There is the most important area intrusive igneous rock, and the deep-seated intrusive rock are termed as a platonic rock. There is called to also is a platonic rock, and shallow depth intrusive rock are the term is a hypovessel. There is a granite and there is a dolerites are common example of intrusive rock. The granite and dolerites. There is a common example of the intrusive rock. And this is a point of view. Therefore, igneous rocks can is occurrence when there is a mode of formation. There is the most important. There is a igneous rocks can be accordance with their mode of formation and be classified as a platonic and hydrovaceous and volcanic rock masses. There is the most important is a 3 point. The head is a blocks of the coarse granitics and rock are found both in the Himalaya and Deccan plateaus. Deccan plateaus. There is the most important. The important here are the diagram of igneous rock here. There is the most important diagram. The craters, escapes rock, intensive rock, and dikes, magma, platonic rock, seals, and there is a baltoliths rock. There is the most important diagram. Show there is the igneous rock here. There is a figure is the most important, and it is an illustrate of the magma or the cooling produce a rock of the different shape and size, and depending on the space are available after it is forced itself into the crust. The common form of intrusives of igneous rock are both latex and silica and danks, etc. The batholiths are hugs, and there is a massive of solidified magma. They vary in the size, some as much as several hundred kilometers across and thousands of kilometers of thick. And they generally form the core of the major mountain as shown in the diagram. And the regular domes and shaped roof and sometimes appear on the surface after the erosion of millions of years. There is the most important, and seal is the horizontal interventions of solidified magma between to the layer of pre-existing rock. And that is a similarly is a more or less vertical formation of few meter to the several kilometer in the length and form few centimeter in the hundreds of meter in the thickness. The basis of a chemical property here, igneous rock are classified into acidity and the basic rock. There is the most important acidic and basic rock, and these are formed as a result of solidification of acidic and basic lava. The acidic igneous rock are composed of 65% or more of silica, and these rocks are light color, hard and very strong. Granite is example on the acidic rock, and basic igneous rock is contain less than 55% of silica. There is the most important is a 55% of silica. There is the most important acidic igneous rock are composed of 65% is more of silica and have more of iron and the magnesium. This rock is a dark color and big enough for the weatherings and gabbro and basalt and the doretal example of the basic rock. Igneous rocks are formed by the solidification of the molten materials called magma or lava. There is the most important point here in the box. The igneous rocks are formed by solidification of the hot molten materials called magma or lava. And extrusives or igneous rock are formed by cooling of lava on the earth as a surface is a basalt and gabbro. That is the most important. And next year, intrusive igneous rock are formed by solidification of magma below their earth as a surface is a Granites. The next state is a sedimentary rock. There is the most important. This is a rock are formed by the successive to the deposition of sediments. This sediment is maybe a debris is eroded from any is a previously exciting rock and which may be ignored as rock. The metaphorics and all sedimentary rock is a sedimentary rocks has the layers are certified structure. The thickness and the strata there is a various from to few millimeter to several meter. So these rocks are also called to certified rock. And generally these rocks has some types of fossil between their strata. There is the most important are fossils. And the fossil is a solid parts of the impressions of prehistoric as animal and plant embodied in the strip of sedimentary rock. Sedimentary rocks are widely spread on the earth's surface but is a slowly dipped. The individual rock is the particles are first broken from a rock and then transported by the running water. The ocean's current is a glacier as even by wind from one place to another, and the process by which a rock of forming material is let it down to is called sedimentation. Yeah, depositions. It may settle in the clamor is a water is a lake or ocean at the place where to the transporting agent has no longer enough energy to carry them to the further. And this is a identify is a riverines as a lost streams and formed by lake. The glacier and the rollins is a formed by the wind and sedimentary rock with a reference to the is a deposition near to the river, lake and glaciers are dissolved especially. There is the most important here. The sedimentary are often loose is a unconsolidated, a soft rock material in the beginning like a sand and the clay. But in the course of time they get a hardened to be a compact materials by excessive evaporation and cementation from a cemented rock. This deposition of cement in there is a beginning in a generally horizontal, but it may be get a tilted afterward due to the movement in their earth crust. And sandstone is a shell is a limestone and dolomite are example of cemented rock. The sediment is a get stored by there is a transporting agent, and sediment is a different size may be get bonded by the cementing a material under suitable condition. Conglomerate is on the example of such as sedimentary rock. There is the most important. These types of formation of consolidated materials termed to the mechanically is formed in the sedimentary rock. The consolidation are organic matter derived from the plant and animal from the sedimentary rock of organic origin. Coal and limestone are organic sedimentary rock, and the sedimentary may be also result from the chemical reaction and direct respirations of mineral from their solution in water may be give rise to the sedimentary rock of is a chemical origin, and gypsum rock is a salt and nitrate is example of such a sedimentary rock. There is the most important example gypsum and rock salt. There is a asphalt, it is a mountain of the world like Himalaya, and the etc. There is a made of the sedimentary rock. The Himalaya is made by the sedimentary rock. All the alluvials is a deposit of the world are also due to sedimentary as a accumulations, and the all rivers the basins, particularly there is a plant and deltas. As the is a Gangatrix plant is a Ganga, Brahmaputra delta and good is example of sedimentary accumulation. And the most important factor here are in the box sedimentary rock are formed by successive deposition of sedimentation. The sediment and this is a rock have to layer a structure, and therefore they are also known as a sediment-filled rock. The fossil is a solid part or impression of the prehistoric and animal and plant embedded to cemented rock is which they are. Well, there is the most important. Next is a metamorphic rock. There is the most important and last rock. There is a metamorphic rock. Most rock is a mountainous is a resinous show on the evidence of change. All this is the course of time become a metamorphosis as a chain formed to the rock, and metamorphics is the rock are formed under to the influence of heat or pressure on sedimentary or igneous rock. And dangerous is the pressure and the high temperature change to the color, hardness, texture and composition of all types of pre-existing rock. And the process which is bearing about the change is known as a metabolism, and the ultimate is a product permit due to the operation of such as a process are defined as the metamorphics is a rock. The temperature, pressure, and stress assessed to the chemical is a reactive substance or their main agent, which are the responsible for the metabolism and the heat cause of minerals the as a recrystallizing into the rock. There is the most important here recrystallizes in the rock. The process of the change by the heat is called thermal or contact metabolism. And when the molten magma and lava come into contact with the surrounding rock, it's a back and them to the change and them into the metamorphic rock. And similarly, the formation of the metamorphic rock due to the tremendous of pressure is known as the dynamic or regional metabolism. The salted is the genesis and spirit is a marvelous and diamonds are good example of metamorphic rock. The metamorphic rock are hard and tough is their comparison to the parent rock and from which is they are formed. Example of metamorphic rock are given in the table 2.1 which there is a parent rock formed which they have been to formed. Here so is the most important here a table parent rock and is a metamorphic or change form. Name of the rock, types of the rock, and name of the metamorphic rock. There is a limestone, there is a cemetery rock, but there is a marble. And dolomite is there is a cemetery rock, and their example of rock is a marble. And sandstone is a cemetery rock and quartzite. And the shell is a cemetery rock and salate. And salate is a metamorphic rock and splendid and crust. And coal is a cemetery rock, but is a graphite and diamond here is the name of the metamorphic rock. The next here is a granite. Granite is igneous rock and the genus is here and the phyllite is the metamorphic rock and schist. Different types of metamorphic rock are found all over to the world. In India, is a marble is found in the Rajasthan, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, where it is salted and available in a plant in Odisha, Andhra Pradesh and Haryana. In a Kangra and the Kuman is regional is a Himalaya, solid is a different color are found. There is the most important here point. Metamorphics is a rock are formed by the effect of heat or pressure on sedimentary ignorance or even metamorphic rock. And thermal metamorphism is the process by which is a rock undergoes to change as a result of great heat. And dynamic metamorphics is the modification of rock by the tremendous pressure during the extensive earth movements. Important question arrive your mind the economical significance of rock. What is the here economical significance of the rock? There is the most important question here. The man has been interacting with the surface of the earth since the long. With the time and the advancement in the technology and the making a different use of the rock and mineral. The importance of rock is given below. There is the most important. What is the important for the air rock? There is the most important value of economics. There is a rock. The first point here of soil. Soil are derived from the rock. Soil provide to suitability for the agriculture product that provide to food from the mention and provide to raw material for many industries. There is the most important here economical value of rock. There is a soil. Soil has there is a agriculture productivity. That is also important. And the next here a building material. The rock are the source of types of building material and there is a direct indirect industrial. There is the most important. The direct indirectly there is a building materials and there is a granite, genus and sandstone marbles. And so there is extensive of use of construction of building. Example, you know that Taj Mahal is made of white marble. In from Agra and the Red Fort in Delhi, there is a made by the red stone. There is a sandstone. There is a most important the red sandstone. There is a most important slightly are used for the roof purpose and different part of India. There is also important here. You know that granite and the sandstone marble are slightly extremely are the construction of building material. Taj Mahal and Red Fort has example. And next here, the use of the mineral resource of important economical importance for the rock here. It is a mineral resource. The mineral are the foundation of the modern civilization. Metallic mineral provide all metal ranging from a very precision gold, platinums, silver, copper, and aluminum and the iron. There is the most important here. And these metals are obtained from different rock. There is the most important here. There is a silver, copper, aluminum, and the gold. There is obtained from the different rock. And the next here, raw materials is also important. Contain rock materials and minerals are used as raw materials for the many industries. Example, cement industries and the limestone kilns. Different types of rock and mineral are used to protection of the finishing goods. And the granite is also used in the scribiums and pencil manufacturing as a raw material. You know that there is the most important the granite and use of the crucible and the pencil manufacture of the raw materials. There is a raw material is the most important for the industries and the cement industry and limestone. And the next year, because the stone, because the stones are metal are obtained from a different metaphoric and ignorance rock. There is a diamond is a precious stone used for jewelry and the metaphoric rock. Similarly, the other precious stone like a gems, rubies, and the spanners and obtained from different types of rock. There is also important. You know that jewelries are made by the different rock. There is a metaphoric rock a different color. There is a make of jewelry, diamond, and the precious stone. And there is the most important here. The next year, fuel. You can fuse that. The fuel are used for the Rome is a rock. There is impossible. But here is important. The fuel in there is a form of coal and petroleum, natural gas, and nuclear minerals are derived from a different rock. You know that there is a fuel is a form of coal, petrol, natural gas, and nuclear minerals are derived from the different rock. And the fertilizer, you are also confused. Fertilizer use of rock, economical purpose, there is impossible. But here is important. The fertilizer are also derived from to some rocks. Is a phosphatics fertilizers are obtained from phosphorites minerals found in some part of the world. There is a fertilizer use of the rock. There is a most economical value here. And the most important part here, the rock and minerals are main source of all metal, precious stone, solid fuel, and raw material from industries. There is the most important for the economical value of rock here. What is the weathering? There is the most important topic here. What is the weathering? The weathering is a general term is applied to be combined action of the all process that case a rock is a disgraded as a physical and decomposed chemical because of exposed or nearby the earth as a surface through the element of weather. There is the most important. What is the weathering? The weathering is a general term applied to the combined action of all process that cause a rock to the disintegrate of physically and decomposed of chemical because of exposure near the earth's surface through the element of weather. Among these is the element temperature, rainfall, frost, fog, and the ice are important ones. There is the most important. The weathering is began as a soon as a rock come in the contact with one or more than one element of weather on the surface of the earth. In a nature, generally both are disintegrations and decomposition act together at a same time and assist each other. We must remember that is a whether is a material or disintegrated and decomposed lies in the situ at original position. In this process, no transportation or movement of material is involved other than it's a fall down under to the force of gravity. There is the most important. There is a material involved other than fall down to under to the force of gravity. In short, there is the most important. The weathering is a process by which exposed rock and disintegrated and decomposed in a situ. There is a most important short line in their original position. You know that weathering is a process by which is the exposed rocks are disintegrate and decompose in a situ. The situ here there is example. There is the original position. The next important here are types of weathering. There is the most important topic arrived are types of weathering. You know that? What is the types of weathering here? We can recognize the three types of weathering: the physical weatherings, chemical weathering, and biotic weathering. There is the most important here: physical weathering and chemical weathering and biotic weathering. The first here, physical weathering. There is the most important here, physical weathering. What is the physical weathering here? When the rock are broken up into a smaller fragment without any chemical change in there is the compositions, and it is called physical weathering. What is the physical weathering here? When the rock are broken up into the small fragment without any chemical change in their composition, it's called physical weathering. You know that? Their term is a mechanical of weathering is also used of physical weathering. There is a term mechanical weathering is also used by the physical weathering. Physical weathering can take place in a different way in different types of area. The physical weathering take place in a different way in a different types of area. There is a has been expanded here with example. Let's show their example. The first is a block disintegration. There is the most important example, block disintegrations. We all know that is a successive heating and cooling cause expansions and contraction of the rock. You know that as a cooling and heating, there is a change of the weather. Directly suddenly of the cooling and suddenly is a heating. There is a cause of the expansion and the contraction of the rock. In a hot or desert region, day temperature are very high, while the night are very cold. There is example of Rajasthan. There is a temperature is a very high and night is very cold. There is a high range of temperature cause of is a successive expansion and contraction of the rock which tend to the enlarge their joint. Finally, the rock is disintegrate into small block. This process is known as a block disintegration. You know, understand? A block disintegration, there is a temperature suddenly is a day is a high and the night is cold. The rock head is the breakdown in a small block. There's process here a block disintegration. They show the diagrams of block disintegration. This is the most important. Joint are the open both by front action, expansion and the contraction for the rock. You show that and the see now. The next here, exfoliation. There is a exfoliation is most important here. The rock are generally poor conductor of heat. The rock are generally poor conductors of heat. As a result of intense of heating, the outer layer of the rock expand rapidly, while their inner layers of remain almost unaffected by heat. Due to the successive expansion and contraction, the outer layer of the rock is subsequently filled of the form of main marks of the rock in form of concentric cell. The peelings of rock is a layer by this process is very similar to the peelings of successive layer of onions, and this process is called exfoliation. What do you mean to exfoliation here? The peelings of rock in a layer by this process is a very similar to the peeling of successive layer of onion, and this process is called exfoliation. The almost all the rounded form of dolorated block of rock in their Sanbalam and district of Bihar are due to the process. The granite domes of the Mahaballipurams and particularly is a Krishna Kal Raju and was near Jabalpur and the Madan Mahal hill as good example for the explanation. There is a most important example here is a Mahabalipuram is particularly is a Krishna Ka Laddu. There is a most important here nearby the Jabalpur on the Madan Mahal hill are good example for this process. Here the show the peelings of the layer of the rock. There is a most important here a large bubble showing to the break up and the exfoliation processing. And section is a view of the sum. There is the most important here a diagram show this. The The next here is the force action. There is the most important, one of the most important physical weathering process is called climates in the force action. The alternate is the freezing and the melting of water inside the joint of the rock, split them into the fragment. And this is because a conservation of the water into the ice, increasing the volume of water by 10%. In cold region, rock are disintegrated into the small particle through the process, and it is called frost action. There is the most important here of frost action. The first action is example here show in this diagram. The water collect in the crack of rock. With that see here a water collection of the rock is a crack rock, and their temperature is 0 Celsius. Water turn ice which occupy the large volume, and thus the crack the enlarges. There is a crack here. First time is a very small, but secondly is a very large crack in the rock. There is a most important example so in this figure. Their main point arrive here are disintegration of rock into small fragment without any change in their chemical composition is called mechanical weathering. Yeah, physical weathering there is the most important. The rapidly heating and cooling of the rock is a create a series of joint and the crack which is the land to the break up into the smaller block. This process is known as the block disintegrations. There is the most important and also important here a weathering process which is the outer layer of the rock fell out in their concentric cells due to the difference of temperature in the outer layer is called exfoliations. There is the most important also, and breaking up to the rock due to the freezing of water in the rock and joint and crack is a very cold reason is called frost action. There is a most important topic arrive here a chemical weathering. There is a part of types of weathering. There is a second part of chemical weathering. The chemical change in the rock through the formation of new compound of formation of new substance called chemical weathering. You know that chemical change in the rock through the formation of new compound or formation of new substance is called chemical weathering. Chemical process include oxidation, hydrolysis, and acid solution. There is the most important here three types: oxidation, hydrolysis, and acid solution. Decomposition of the rock by chemical process with the help of water and atmospheric gas is called chemical weathering. There is the most important here decomposition of rock by chemical processes and with the help of water and atmospheric gas is called chemical weathering. The chemical weathering involve four major processes. The first here oxidation. What do you mean to oxidation? You learn to the science chapter oxidation in 10th class. There is oxidation. This is a process which atmospheric oxygen reaction with the rock to be produce oxidized. The process is called oxidation. You know that repeat here. This is a process in which atmospheric oxygen react with the rock to be produce oxidized, and this processing is called oxidation. The greatest impact of this process is absorbed on a ferrous mineral, and the oxygen present on humid air react with the iron grain in the rock to form of yellow or red oxidized of iron, and this is called rusting of the iron. The rust is a decomposed rock completely with the passage of a time. There is the most important. And next here carbonation. There is a carbonation important for the chemical weathering the part, and this is a process by which is the various types of carbonate are formed. There is the most important the types of carbonate are formed here are carbonation processing, and some of this is a carbonate are soluble in water. There is a soluble in a water. For example, when the rainwater containing carbon dioxide pass through the previous limestone rock. There is the most important preview limestone rock. The rock is joined in the enlarged due to the action of carbonic acid. You know that? There is a limestone rock. The rock joins enlarge due to the action of carbonic acid. The joint enlarge in the size and the limestone in the remove in a solution. And this types of breakdown of rock is called is a carbonation. There is a carbonation reaction. And next here, hydrations. The hydration here, this is a process by which water is absorbed by mineral of rock. What? This is the process by which water is absorbed by minerals of the rock, and due to the absorption of water by the rock, the absorption of the water of the rock, its volume increase and grain lost their shape. There is the increase of volume and the grains lost their shape. Is a phase for example, is a change into the colony through their hydrations. Colonies and Vindhyala Hill near Jabalpur has been to formed in this manner. There is a most example for Vidyan Hill. There is an important. And next here, solution. This is a process which the sum of mineral get dissolved in water. The dissolve in water. There are therefore removed in a solution. The rock salt and gypsum are removed by this process. There is called solution is a chemical weathering. Next topic here are biotic weathering. There is the most important of biotic weathering. I have also done by the physical weathering, chemical weathering, and the next year biotic weathering. The biotic weathering is a carry out of the plant, animal, and the man. There is a three factor is the main of weathering in the biotics here. The first here are plants. The plants are contribute to the both is a mechanical and chemical weathering. The roots of the plant penetrate into the joint of the rock, and they grow longer and the thicker in the manner they exert a pressure on the rock, and the rock joint are the thereby are enlarged and break into the smaller fragment. There is a most important here. Here show the diagram of effect of vegetation on the rock. There is a most important example show here. A rock is a plant enlarged, correct joint to the rock in their show in the diagram, and the soil joint, and as the root is a grow into the joint, the open up. There is a most important here a breakdown to the rock in a plant. The next here is a animal. There is a most important here a browsings animal like a earthworm, rat, rabbit, termites, and the ant breaks down to the rock. This disintegrated as rock can be easily to the eroded or removed by bin and etc. However, this animal break the soil and thus the assessed soil erosion. The role of earthworm and the termite is the special significance. According to the scientist, there is a possibility of the occurrence about 1,50,000 earthworm in acres, and they can convert to the 10 to 50 tons of the rock mainly into good soil and bearing into the surface. There is a most important here the animal or the weathering. There is the most important, and the next here the man. The man is the most important. The human beings play a very important role in a weathering of various rock. The man breaks a large amount of rock in the course of their active like agriculture, construction of the house, road, etc. And he cares for the mining of minerals. Thus, the help is the weathering by breaking and beakings and the losing the rock. There is the most important here. And there is a most important fact, their point and arrive, biotic as a like a plant, animal and man also contribute to the physical and chemical weathering. There is a most important point here. The next topic is the most important here of weathering and soil. There is a most important here weathering and soil. We have studied the process of weathering and have learned how to different types of land feature and produce a area of different types of climate through this is a process. Weathering also play an important role in the formation of soil, which is the provides a basis for the agriculture and world as a food supply. Mechanical weathering as a surface raw and disintegrate the rock of the converted it into a fine powder. And these small particles are deposited in the layer with the help of the water. Biotic weathering is a produce of humus and the organic matter is formed through their action of plant, animal, which help in the formation of soil. The various process of weathering help the giving a different color and property of soil. Arrive is the most important topic here, a gradation. What do you mean to gradation here? Exogenetics is a force are constantly working to the varying about the leveling or gradations of land. They attempt to achieve a condition of balance between two erosions and the depositions, which mean a graded position. That is the most important here, gradient to the position, and the above force operate through there is a process is called a process of gradation. You understand? The above force operate through the process is called to a process of gradation. There is a between to the balance and erosions and the position meant to the gradient of position. That is called to the gradations. An agent of gradation like a river, glacier, wind, sea, wave, and underground water perform their task with the help of the triple action of weatherings, erosion, and deposition. There is the most important here. The gradation air agent is a rivers, glacier, winds, and sea, and the wave and groundwater. There is the leads down to the elevated to the protections of the earth. A surface is done by the erosion, and the filling up to the depression in the done by is a deposition of the eroded material transported by external agent of gradation is spoken earlier. We have studied that is a endogenetical force of the earth give rise to the major landform on the earth's surface and exogenetic force leave them done. That is the most important here. The work of gradation has a two component. There is a first here degradations and aggradation. There is the most important here component of gradation is a degradation and aggradation. There is the most important here. The first degradation. What do you mean to here? Degradation when a rock are removed by the scraping, scratching and cutting as a result of the process of erosion and thereby the lowering the reservation of land. It is called to the degradation. You know that? What is the degradations? There is a scraping, scratching and cutting a result. There is a process of erosion that is called degradations. And degradations are first of all include the work of weathering, that is the movement of scrapped and scratched material added by the great force of gravity, and it is also include the work of erosion implying the transportations of the rock material by an agent of gradation, and the increasing is the moment of the rock debits, increasing of both is a regional and transportation capacity. There is the most important. The next year aggradation. Aggradation here a filling of the flow lining area of depression by eroded of material is called depositions. And deposition is a start when to the agent of gradation lose their force or have obstructions in their way. As a result, is the eroded material is deposited in the depression, which not only creates new landform but also is modify the existing ones. Show here figure. Here to show there is a process of gradation. There show the clear upland where down to the land due to the erosions is a degradations, and transportation here the base of label, and depressions here is a backside, and aggregation is a filling up to depression by deposition. There are two processes in here. Gradation is the most important show in this picture. Let us now look at the figure. It is explained to the total process of gradation, and it is a two component of is a degradation and aggradations. There is a most important here. There is a different only D and AG. There is a gradation, degradation, and S gradation. It is shown that as elevated potence continuously is being lower by weatherings and erosion. There is a derivative of the consistings of their eroded material in transport and deposited in the low lying area, and the surface of the lower area on the other hand is arise to through their deposition of these derivatives is a finally their position of a uniform or near uniform level is achieved. The process of gradation is not performed by a single agent. It is a rather result of work of all the agents as a gradation acting there stimulatively. It is however possible for a single agent of gradation to be more active in a particular area or at the particular time. The one here important point is here a leveling and the smoothing of land surface called gradation include both is a degradation and S gradation. There is a most important short point here a leveling and smoothing of the land surface is called gradation. There is a two type degradation and S gradations. The weathering of the land surface of erosion is called degradation. The weathering of the land surface erosion is called degradation, and rising of filling up to depression by deposition is called is aggradation. There is the most important. Next important topic here I have a soil and its a formation. Here the most important here a soil and its a formation. Soil is the uppermost layer of the land surface that a plant use or depend on for a nutrient and water and physical support. There is the most important here formation of soil. The first here factor of soil formation. What do you mean to the factor of the soil formation here? The five factors which control the formation of soil are prevent, rock, relief, time, climate, and plant and animal organism. There is the most important factor here. Repeating parents, rock, there are parents rocks, relief, time, climate, plant, and animal organism. Animal and organism. There is a most factor here. It is a farmer. Three are called passive factor, which is a little two are the active factor. There are passive and active factor also. And the parents, materials, and climate are most important because these two effect of the two factor. The first here important the parents rock. The parent rocks as a soil derived from to the underlying rock of the parent rock material is a containing of different mineral. There is a most important containing of different mineral. The parent rock get broken into tiny pieces and it is decomposed slowly by physical and chemical bathing. It is a forest is the organic minerals is a particle of the soil. The parent rock also influence the rate of soil formation. The chemical composition, color, texture, structure, minerals, and contain a fertility. There is a most important here a parent's rock. And the next here relief. There is a most important topic around relief. A topographies on the area affect the degrees of erosion of parent's rock is the material and the rate of surface run of the water. There is the most important here a surface run of water, and thus the relief affect the directly and indirectly is a process involved in the soil formation. And step slope are subjected to the more rapidly run of the surface water than to the gently slopes. Therefore, and there is a less infiltration of water on a step or slope, and which is a reward of soil forming processes. And in addition, rapidly run off one step is the slopes often eroded on their surface faster than the soil can develop. It is because of that is a mountainous is that topography is developed a course and things and the infertility soil and the plan our area they have the rich well or developed fertility soil. The next factor is the time. The soil forming process is very slow. A well-developed soil result as an end product of the physical, chemical and biological process is operating is a collectivity for a every long period of time. There is a time here factor is the most important. The next state is the climate. Climate is also an important factor here. It is the formation of soil and it is a by far their most important factor is the sense that over a long period of the time it is not only tend to reduce the different causing by parents materials but also influence is a biologically activity within the soil. Due to these factors, two different parent material may be developed. The same types of soil is one types of climatic regions. For example, a granite and sandstone have a development into sandy soil dry, the Rajasthan desert. And on the other hand, two different types of soil may be developed from the same present a material in the two climatic region. For example, the crystalline is a granite, as a development is the lateral soil is a monsoon regions, and non-let is the lateral soil is a sub-humid region. There is the most important here a climatical condition. The process of weathering it is a effectiveness and types of plant and animal organism in a region and directly linked with the seasonal change of is a temperature and distribution of nature of participations. Hence, the climate play an important role in the soil forming process. There is the most important diagram here show the formation of soil. There is the most important the soil is a minerals. There is a resulting climates. Most important here factor is a climate. Climate is a rock of form. There is a maintenance soils and convert the soil. Other side there is the types of vegetation and which declare from to humus and there is a formation of soil. There is a formation of soil. There are two categories. The next factor here, a plant and animal organism. That is the most important factor here. A plants and animal play an active role in a transforming parents material into a mature soil. The dead plant and animal contribute to the organic content of a soil. The process of decline added to the bacteria action is a transform or organic matter into the humus. The humus is responsible for fertility of soil. It is also enhances the water intentions capacity of the soil. These organic materials help to the soil to support plant life. And the plant cover in the turn protect a rich upper layer of the soil from erosion by increasing the proportion of rainfall entering into the soil rather than running off a surface. It is also prevent a greater evaporation of soil moisture by it is a thick is a can copse and there is allowing soil to the mature and become a fertile. There is a two important points arrive here. The first, the climate, plant, animal, organism are active factor of soil formation. There is the most important point. Note down you. There is the climate, plant, and animal organism are active. There is the active factor of soil is a formation. And the second, the parents material relief and time are passive factor of soil. There is a two categories active and passive. The active here there is a climate plant animal organism and the passive here a parents material relief and time here a passive factor is a soil formation. There is the most important B part is soil horizons. There is the most important diagram showing this. There top soil, humus, horizon soil, horizon subsoil, horizon weathered rocks. There is a substromus and where there is a parents rock. There is the most important here. A layer of soil which is a lies more and less parallel to the surface and has a fairly distinctive soil property is known as the soil horizons. There is a soil horizons the most important here. A layer of soil which is a lies more and less parallel to a surface and has a fairly distinctive a soil property is known as a soil horizons. Soil horizons are distinctive layer found in the soil that differ in a physical or chemical composition. Organic content or structure. The display of horizon on a cross section through the soil is termed as a soil profile. There is a picture is most important here, soil profile. They also show, and here let's review a brief of main types of horizons and their characteristics. The four main horizons are important here: A, E, B, and C. The horizon are uppermost horizon and rich organic matter. The next is the E is the horizons is a clay particles and oxidized aluminiums and iron and the removed from the E horizons by downward springs and water leaving behind pure grains of sand or coral slate. The B horizon receive there is a clay particles and aluminium and the iron oxide as well as organic matter washed down from to the A and E horizons. The when there is a B horizon is a C horizons and which is not considered part of the soil if they consist of the parent minerals matter of the soil. There is the most important topic arrive here. There soil erosion. There is the most important for the all class student. There is a soil erosion. There is a removal of soil at the greater rate than its displacement by nature agency. The natural agency here, a water, wind. There is a natural agency is known as the soil erosion. There is the most important. The here first here types of the soil erosion. What is the type of soil erosion here? The soil erosion is of four types mainly: the wind erosion, sheet erosion, rail erosions, and gully erosion. There is the most important four here erosion of four types. The first here, the wind erosions. The wind carry away to the west is the quantity of fine soil particles and sand from a desert and spread it over adjoining a cultivated land and thus that destroy their fertility. And this type of erosion is known as a wind erosion. It is a take place in and around all desert regions of a world. In India, over 1 lakh kilometer of land is under Thar desert. Thar desert is a very important and spread over part of Gujarat, Haryana, Punjab, and Rajasthan state. This area is subject to intense of wind erosion. There is the most important here. The Thar desert is the most important of the wind erosions and also is a Gujarat, Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan state. There is an area are subject to intense of wind erosion. The next here are siege erosion. The water when to move a siege take away thick layer of soil. There is the most important thick layer of soil. And this type of erosion is called sheet erosions. There is called sheet erosions. And such types of erosion is the most commonly along the river bed and area affected by floods. In the long run, there is soil is a completely excluded due to the removal of topsoil or become a infertility. That is called to the sheet erosions. And the next here are real erosion. There is a removal of surface material usually of soil by the action of running water. By the action of running water. The process create a numerous teeny channels or rill. There is a teeny channel is called rills. A few centimeters in a depth and the most which carry a water only during to the storms. The next here is a gully erosion. There is the most important here gully erosions come to the many times of exam. When the water move as a channel down to the slope. The when water move a channel down to slope, it is a scopes and out the soil and the form of gullies, which gradually is a multiply and it is a long run spread over to the wild area. And these types of erosion is called gully erosion. And the land thus are distracted is called bad land by Venice. In our country, two rivers is a Chambal and Yamuna are famous from their revenues in the UP and MP state. There is a most important for a gully erosion and this side. The controlling factor is the last two types of erosion are the velocity and amount of surface runoff. The erodibility of the soil, nature of slope, there is a texture and structure of the soil, the nature of participation and vegetation cover. The speed and frequency of winds are dust, storm, and vegetation covered by their controlling factor in a wind erosion. The sea waves are responsible for endings of soil along to the coastal formed by as a big rock such as a limestone, etc. And this type of erosion is a widespread along is a Kerala coastal. And substanding soil erosion is also caused by the changing river channels and snowfall, especially in a river is a basin and the hilly region. This is the most important fact here. Our conclusion. There is the most important point arrived. The removal of soil material and naturally or by human action is called soil erosion. There is definition the most important. What is the soil erosion? There is removal of soil material naturally by human action is called soil erosion. The soil erosion is a four types mainly of wind erosion, seed erosion, rails erosion, and gully erosion. That is the most important. And also here, the factor influencing soil erosion are velocity and amount of surface of runoff, nature of slope, texture, structure of soil, and frequency and speed of winds. There is a most important 3 point here as like a summary. Is the most important topic arrive here is the most important soil conservation. There is the most important soil conservation here. The soil is one of the most important natural resource. Which is substance is a different types of leaves are directly indirectly. Moreover, soil forming is a slow natural process. The soil is a forming is a slow natural process. The process of soil erosion not only destroyed this wonderful gift of nature in a short span time. It is a create a new problem like a flood, damage to the road, rail bridge, hydroelectricity project, and water supply and pumping station, etc. There is the most important here, the most important soil conservation here. Let's come to the soil conservation here. The soil conservation consists of this method which prevent of soil from the beginning removed. The method to control of soil erosion of different type in a different part of the world are under. There is the most important type here. The first here, a protection of forest. The soil erosion is a low down. There is a protection of the forest. The indiscriminated and a felling of tree in the forest has been one of the major case of soil erosions. Since the root of the trees holding the soil material together, it is a desirable of project and these trees form such a feelings and this is has led government to declare forest a reserve in which the felling of trees has been banned. There is a method of soil conservation is the most suited to be all types of landscape. The forests are also harvesting of rain, which is increasing the process of soil formation. There is the most important for the protection of forest. The next is the afforestation. The afforestation is the most important here. A planting of tree along the river course, based land, and mountain slope is another method of soil conservation. There is called the afforations. Afforation is the most important. The land, mountain, slope, there is trees are plantings. And the reduce or here exclusive erosion taking place in this is a reason as afforations is also effective in the controlling winds erosions along their desert regions. Tree plantation along the desert bound stop or swelling of the agriculture's land by desert sands. In our countries is a large scale planting of trees is a beginning carried out of Rajasthan, Haryana, Gujarat, Punjab to control the extension of Thar desert. There is a afforestation. There is the most important for the conservation of a soil. The next here is the flood control. There is the most important here during the rainy season. The amount of water in the river increasing, escalating, and which is a turn in increasing the soil erosion. Dams are began to constructed to control the flood and consequently the soil erosion. And this can also be done by the diverting river water to dry or regions through their canal and by the other well planned method of water conservation. There is a flood is a control is the most important for a conserve of soil here. The next is the planned grazing. The overgrazing on the hill slope has helped the losing and washing away from soil is this area. If a grazing is carried out in a planet where it is will be reduced soil erosion by protecting a vegetation covered in this area which are comparative more permanent to the soil erosion. There is the most important here planet grazing. The overgrazing is as a reason for the soil erosion, but less grazing is not a soil erosion. There is a prevention of the soil. The next here is the bondings. Bonding here is the construction of the bond or obstruction of the applied in land and affected by the gully erosion. That is the most important here, and this method is not only helpful in controlling soil erosion but also is maintaining soil fertility and conserving water resource and the leveling of their sloping of land. The next is important here are tracing. Tracing is the most important to the conserve a poorly developing thing soil on the mountain slope. And tracing is another method. There is a tracing is most important in conservation of soil at a tracing method. Tracing refers to the construction of the terrace and across the slope is a mountainous region, and this helps controlling the soil erosions and using water resource of this area economically and effective for growing different crops are this terrace. There is the most important here. The next here is the counter plunging. There is the most important is the counter is the plunging here, and this method of the soil conservation is the most suited to be a area having a rolling is a landscape. The plunging and tilling of the land along the contours level in order to the case is falling to the run as across to the land slope and reduce the rate of soil erosion, and this method is also applied to the maintain the fertility and soil moisture. The next area here adaptations of stripping farming. There is the most important method adaptation of stripping farming. The stripping farming is the method is the most suited is a rolling plant and the region situated is a arise and semi-arise region. The field are divided into strips and the fanning is 1 year done on one trips while their other trips is a left uncultivated. There is a most important, and this grassy vegetation cover the left strip controls soil erosion and maintain to fertility of soil. The next year is a process is a reserve. Their reverse is the most important. The next year process here is reverse. There is the most importantly here. The next here is a crop rotation. There is a most important here. A crop rotation refer to a systematic. Systematic here a succession of different crop cultivated in a given piece of land in order to avoid to the excavations of their soil. There is a more important here crop rotation. Crop rotation refer to the systematic succession of different crop cultivated, and thus rotation of the crop is applied to the conserve the fertility of soil from our cultivation of growing continually crop from where a population is a pressure is a more or limited agriculture land, and this method is applied in the most of the countries of the world. There is the most important here. This method is a use for all the country. And the next here is a reclamation of land. There is the most important here of conservation of soil. The soil erosion is also began to control it by the labelings. A land gullied down to the water channel and converted into the waste land are the remnants, and the method of soil conservation is the most suited in the river basin and hilly terrains, and the west area there is been to the level to the Kambal and Yamuna river to our country. That is the most important for reclamation of land.